Alright folks, hello and welcome back to Downstage Gaming. I'm your host Josh, and this is part 2 on our path to truth, and here in the letter. I just wanted to show you this picture that we didn't get to see last time. It's very gratifying to me. And here we are continuing our, hopefully, true end playthrough. And we just started Marianne's chapter. From this point on, I think things are going to be pretty simple. But we'll see. There might be a few new things, especially in Becca and Ash's chapter. But we'll see as we go. For Marianne, really the main thing is just we want to... This is wrong. We're not having sex with Luke this time. The main thing we want to do is just get Marianne killed, which we've not seen before. So that'll be a fun new twist to things. Okay, so we have our little exchange with Rebecca here. Again, mostly the choices that I'm going to be making outside of the most important ones are ones that build relationships up, just to have very positive relationships all around. You got something to say? She likes that, right? Yeah, I thought so. Okay. So I actually, well, clearly it wasn't her. It would have stopped me. I was going to say, I wonder if because their relationship was more positive, if she was less harsh, but apparently not. Apparently she's still kind of a dick to Isabella. What do I want to do here? Let's check it out, right? Because I think that gives us a chance to potentially get something new here.
Wouldn't dream of it, whiskey.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be if you wanted, though it's a bit early for it. So thanks for the save.
Really, it is much appreciated. Even though the circumstances during our first meeting were not savory or wholesome, I can't bring myself to completely look at Mr. Wright in a bad light. Yeah, this is totally different than last time. Nothing came out of it, after all.
It's no trouble at all. I've been told I have a gift for catching pretty ladies. Being a great catch myself.
You don't say.
Is that so? Would you say you'll be able to catch if another man were to pitch?
Perhaps. But I wouldn't know. I don't play baseball. Mint.
Right. Of course you don't.
I can't help but chuckle at my little joke, but it looks like it completely went over his head. I don't know that I got that impression. I just got the impression that he shut it down in a stupid way. If he'd understood it, I guess it would have been inappropriate. He is my client, after all. Speaking of which... I mean, I guess let's be friendly? He might hate this, but Yep. Whatever. Whatever little camaraderie I had with Whiskey is forgotten, however. I straighten up and glance behind him, only to find that he's on his own. Mrs. Wright is still absent. I still remember my place and why I'm here. To continue in such a manner with her husband would feel like a breach of trust between my client and I. Well, that's not really where I want to go with this.
I don't suppose Mrs. Wright is on her way down? It is 10:30 after all.
She'll be down here in a moment. For now, you have me.
Am I not enough for you?
Can't I just chat with a good friend?
I don't think a night where we talk like two drunk Egypts makes us good friends. And if you have any bit of sense, it's better to forget that night ever happened.
What? Why not? It was a good night, if a bit boring.
You know exactly why. We both know what your intentions were that night. And to find out that you're married, if there's even an ounce of decency in you...
There isn't.
If you'd like the world to be a little less messed up...
It won't be.
You'll remember your wife and what you almost did to your Mrs. Wright.
It's better to get that out of the way once and for all.
Well, no need to be such a killjoy about it.
God, can't a man just enjoy an affair? The dead air between us, because it can't be anything else but that, is broken as a lively voice calls out from the loft.
Marianne! I hope I haven't kept you waiting too long.
Oh, you did. Just a little too long. Well, whatever. We got one negative thing, and honestly, Luke Wright deserves it. Who do I want to side with here? I want to side with Hannah. Screw Luke. Right, yeah, okay. Yep, okay. Alright, so we head off to the mansion. And in this case, we're going to check out the first floor again. I'm more interested in seeing the ending in this version, just to see what that looks like. So, yeah. I also want to continue to improve Hannah and Marianne's relationship, so I think this one makes more sense. Well, okay, what is the... Well, first, what did we do last time? Because I think we messed this up last time, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, so let's, You must have been quite the pair.
You must have been quite the pair, Mrs. Wright.
Yep, good, okay.
Hannah Evans and Luke Wright taking Luxbourne by storm. At least, that's what I've heard.
That's what the rumor mill's been churning out. That gets a giggle out of her. And can I be blamed if I like the way her eyes crinkled or how she sounded when she laughed?
Quite the celebrity couple, according to all the newspapers. But it wasn't always that way. Father certainly didn't approve of him at first.
I've never approved of it.
Why, he told me to stay away from him. Told me that I was too good for him.
It's pretty true.
That's the usual overprotective dad speak, though.
No,
But of
Luke
course you
just
know
sucks. No, that's just Luke being terrible. I don't. I was too busy keeping my grades up at boarding school to maintain my scholarship. Never mind the fact that I went to an all-girls boarding school, so Father never had any reason to fuss over boys trying to date his little girl.
And what did you tell him? Considering you are Mrs. Wright now, you or the mister must have convinced him otherwise.
Yes, well, I told him I was my own woman and I could decide who was deserving of me or not on my own. Thank you very much.
And then Luke Wright had him assassinated or something, I don't know.
That never stopped him from making sure Luke couldn't get anywhere near me without an escort and a guard anyway. Though he certainly wasn't that overprotective when I was dating Jack.
Maybe your father considered this Jack a more capable man?
Or maybe he knew that Luke Wright sucked completely.
I doubt it. Jacqueline was nowhere close to being any sort of a role model when we were in college. She was rebellious, reckless, and immature. Everything I wasn't. But she was quite the charming, stunning woman, and I think that made her quite likable.
Marianne's bi alert just went to code red. That takes me by surprise a lot more than by the fact that Mr. Wright's father-in-law didn't like him. That much was to be expected. But this? I have nothing against them because that's their thing, though the nuns and the priests would say otherwise. Although, wasn't she worried about the implications, the rumors that would have arisen about her dating another of the same sex? Especially with someone of her social status.
You look surprised, Marianne. The first thing anybody needs to know about me is that I go after what I want. And when it comes to who I love, it doesn't matter to me whether they're a man or a woman.
Good for you, Hannah. It's a nice enough sentiment. Perhaps a bit of, like, rich girl manipulation mixed in with it, but you know, whatever. Still, the thought that this lovely lady before me had once been with another woman, I can feel my cheeks heat up a bit, and I panic, thinking they might be red enough for Miss Wright to notice. I can't tell, though a coy smile graces her lips.
Legs, we called her. Because of how often she was running about because of one thing or another.
Yeah, I bet that's the
Climbing
reason
up
you called her
walls
legs.
and- what do they call it now? Parkour. And also because of her, well,
Yeah, okay.
legs.
Alright, well, I'm glad you admitted it.
And you went after her?
Not right away. When I first met her, I wanted nothing to do with her. She was so improper and uncouth. But I slowly realized that didn't mean she was a bad person.
It was a real
On the
Princess and
contrary,
Pauper story.
She did many a good thing and was always so nice to others. I found myself confused. I couldn't figure out if I wanted to be her or wanted to be with her.
And so I decided to do both.
So I approached her, told her that I might have fancied her.
And your father didn't mind?
He must have thought it was my form of rebellion. But he never watched out for Jack as much as he watched out for Luke. If I didn't love my father so much, if he hadn't raised me right, I think I might have told him to bugger off. He's never been more attentive of me than when I started bringing home dates.
I'm sure he loved you very much.
She laughs once more, a glow about her. I know, she says with a small
I
smile.
suppose I've taken too much of your time with my silly stories. You still have much to inspect?
I still have most of this floor, and I'll want a quick run-through of the ground floor again later.
I shan't keep you from your work any longer then. Just call me if you need anything. I'd like to look around myself.
When she turns to leave, she glances back at me before disappearing into the foyer. I look out the window from where she was standing. Ciao, Hannah. And I move on, alone with nothing but my thoughts and her.
Finally, some peace and quiet. Thought the old biddy would never leave.
That's what I'm saying. Alright, so we head in and we get our thing with the mirror. Ah! Oh, jeez. Oh, God, I forgot about this. Forgot about this. I didn't remember there was a QTE here. Okay.
Love me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lorraine. Okay. And, ooh. Whoa, Marianne. Didn't remember that. Okay, so we head home, freaked out. Wednesday. We're gonna have the nightmare here, I think. Yep. Hannah and Lorraine together at last. Say goodbye to Baruthiel. Head there. We see the mirrors being moved to the cellar. We have our little goss sesh with Hannah. Is he jealous? I don't even remember what I assume ask if he's alright is the actual thing we want here. Yeah, and in this case it's only him that we're worried about, so yeah,
Hey,
we'll ask if he's alright. Okay, so we head back to the bar, but we see Ash there talking with G. We accidentally drunkenly spill all of our information. Have the nightmare again, and then we move on to our final day here. We have one more goss sesh with Hannah, and then we decide we want to make our way to the cellar. Johans tries to stop us, but we make our way past. We run into Lorraine. Should I stay or should I go? Okay, and just to be sure, we're gonna pick to stay. Yes, okay. I want to stay with you, Lorraine, forever. I really do want to stay with her. I'm getting tired of pretending, of lying to myself. And the fact that I'm admitting this to myself now, all times, only brings to light how Lorraine was right about me all along. I should have listened to her.
But, Lorraine, you're dead. How can we even stay together?
I know. And it's your fault, isn't it? You tore us apart, but now you can put us back together again.
And now that I have the choice to fix what I've done to us, then who am I to do otherwise?
I'm so sorry. I must look like a right mess.
I'm here, Em. I'm here now, don't you worry.
I mean, this is the bit about the whole thing, like, of the sort of powers we've seen of the spirit that I am most interested in and sort of confused by. Because it suggests that the spirit has the ability to, like, know the memories that it didn't experience, like, of Marianne. Like, is it, like, probing her mind for these memories so that it can lure the trap correctly? And if that's the case, like, why doesn't it do this kind of strategy for any other character other than Marianne?
Come here.
It takes everything I have not to tear up at the sight of her. She reaches out, slips her fingers through mine before pulling me away from the tunnel and towards the mirror. Our reflection, a grown woman and a teenager, barely past her prime, lends a bizarre light to this whole scene.
I can't imagine how you've been so alone all these years. I left you, Lorraine. I didn't mean to, but that's what I did. I don't even know if you can ever forgive me.
Don't cry. Doesn't suit your pretty face. Besides, I don't have to be alone anymore, do I? You're here for me, aren't you? You'll never leave me again, will you?
My mouth goes dry as she looks at me. This isn't the plan. This isn't closure. Yet her hand in mine makes me believe that this is real. She's real, and that's all that matters. Nothing else.
Yes, of course. I wouldn't dare leave you.
You swear you won't leave me?
I swear to God, I won't, Lorraine.
Though her smile remains, I can only describe her expression as sad. She walks around until she stands just behind me and wraps her arms around my waist. I nearly crumble with how I am in her arms once more. And when she puts her chin in the crook of my neck and I feel her hot breath in my neck, I am filled with both joy and grief. The scent of chocolate, almonds, honey, and beer surrounded me, my first taste of love. The love that I denied. It had been so bittersweet.
God's not the only one you're making promises to, Marianne. Swear it to me. Or,
I'm your
even
god
better,
now.
prove it to me.
I'll stay forever with you, Lorraine. I swear it to you. How do I even prove it to you?
Why don't you come to this mirror with me?
Simple.
She presses something in my hand. A large glass shard from a wine bottle, cold and
You
sharp.
join me.
Is she suggesting that
Die for me.
Oh god.
Lorraine,
Not exactly what I was expecting.
that's... How can I?
How can I even do such a thing?
There's no need to be scared. I'll be here for you until the end, Marianne. Even if you hadn't done the same for me. But that's the only way I can forgive you. The only way we can be together again.
She guides my hand, raising the glass shard. My own hands are weak as is my will, and I can only bare my neck to do with as she wishes. There is no reason, no self-preservation, as I mindlessly welcome my own death, as if it will lead me to my salvation. I feel nothing at first, other than the glass touching my skin like a caress, until a stinging sensation blooms from my neck. The pain sears and burns like nothing I've felt before, and every breath intensifies the feeling. Even if I wanted to cry and scream, I can only cough as a slick metallic taste coats my tongue. The most I could do beyond that is rasp out, calling for her name.
Lorraine.
Cold and weak, I grow worse by the second. I cough with each ragged breath, expelling the blood that I'm inhaling through my slit throat.
Shush now. It'll be over soon. Really soon.
There is a moment of doubt, as I remember that the devil was once the most beautiful angel in heaven, that I shouldn't be deceived by such beauty, but in my final moments all of that is soon forgotten. My mouth twitches, I can't muster even the smallest of smiles anymore, but I'll be with Lorraine. Okay, well, that was not great. Okay, so sort of a falling out, some kind of falling out here between Charlotte and the Lord of the House here. Presumably, probably, Charlotte has found out about the affair, or that there's some kind of something going on between the Lord and the servant, the maid. Alright, moving on to Rebecca's chapter. So the main thing with Rebecca, again, is just that we're going to keep her alive. Other than that, I think I'm going to try to push the Luke relationship again, weirdly enough. Because I don't really want her with Ashen anyway. I think that's not what's good for her. So we'll see what we can do there. Not that it's... not that the love will matter in the end anyways, but we'll see. Alright, so we're at the movie, where this time we are going to go again. But first they're all going to yell at Isabella for a while about how stupid she is. And then we're going to try to take her home. Alright, last time we said I'm not in the mood to talk, right? And that was a bad decision, yes. So, I thought being honest was right, but this cold caught up with me.
And during the open house, even if there were a lot of people around, there were weird things happening. I don't know if there was anyone else who noticed, but I heard things.
Why does Ash disapprove? Well, whatever.
I'm sure it wasn't because I fell down the stairs. Even before that, in the attic,
Isabella.
Yeah?
A pause, though I don't let it last, only to give myself a small window to breathe before I lay down the words between us with as much restraint as my patience allows, which is not much after everything. I can only hope Isabella will simply take them as they are. She can be stubborn as a mule when she wants to
This
be.
kind of conversation tonight. Look, it's been a long day. I think this cold also caught up with me, and I'm really exhausted. Can we talk about this some other time?
She blinks, and although disappointment flashes momentarily in her face, she gives me a curt nod. A relief enough for me, perhaps the first time I genuinely feel it today. As unpleasant as this day has been, seeing something go the way I've anticipated takes the edge out of it. Even if lying through my teeth had to go with it.
Oh, all right. You should have just said so. I told you should have taken a full week off. Were you able to get the meds I brought you, though? Do you need anything? I could drop by the pharmacy for you.
Yeah, no need to fuss. A good night's sleep is all I need. I've been busy the whole day. I guess I should have listened to you and taken it easy. But we have exams to prepare for. It's one or the other, you know?
I knew it! Here I thought you were just upset about something.
Oh no, I'm definitely not upset about anything.
Even Ash looked a little bit worried about you.
It's fine. Let's just head home, okay? I'll make it up to you next time. Call me out to lunch or wherever. Just... not right now.
Not while my
Okay,
heart is
but
broken.
Should you be driving? If you want, I can call a taxi for us. You'll hate paying the extra fees, but you'll be able to get some rest on the way home.
No, don't call a cab. I can manage driving at least.
She says 5 minutes before she's about to nearly kill them both.
Just get in the car so we can be on our way.
I'm already opening the door and climbing into the seat before she can protest. Left with no other choice, she follows inside shortly, albeit with a bit of reluctance. The guilt from this will eat at me later, but for now, these little falsehoods are mine to bear and hide under. For now, this is the better choice. Better than pretending she doesn't exist or giving her vague answers. Certainly better than harsh words and outright lashing out at her. I can find a little comfort in that. Yeah, that went a lot better than last time. I'm glad to see that they could still be friends. Alright, so we nearly have a little car accident here, but we managed to make it out okay. And okay, we get the invitation to the housewarming party, where we decide that we'll just go because Mom and Dad can't make it. Right. Alright. I think sorry for the trouble is what we want to say. I think last time I said I can handle it, and that was the wrong one. Yeah. Sorry for the trouble. I recognize his concern for what it is. It's not new for him to go out of his way for us, and to be honest, yay. This is what I love about him. As much as I would have loved to take this off his hands, it'll only be selfish of me to insist, considering he knows of my other commitments. To do so feels like I'll be trampling on that kindness he seldom offers to anyone.
Sorry for putting you up to this.
Don't mention it. You've got other things you need to worry about. Take care of those first. This is a small thing.
I still owe you one.
Oh, I can name a few things you can do about that.
Excuse me?
You know, there's this ice cream shop that opened near the movie house. I could use...
Okay, let's stop right there. That's enough. On second thought, maybe I'll just think about it some other time.
Harsh.
We both laugh, but sound lighter and more comfortable. Like the old days when a wayward 26-year-old is at the bottom of the list we need to worry about. This is how we find a common ground. We may not agree on a lot of things, we may see things the way the other does, but the give and take is something we've learned to get used to over the years. Whenever it's like this, confidence in him is the least I can offer as thanks.
Really? Thanks for this, Ash.
I'll let you know what happened afterwards. I promise. I'll call you later. You have a good day. Bye.
Thanks, Ash. I admit, the way he puts it isn't comforting enough. He can be blunt like that. So many unknown variables, so many words left unsaid. I wish he'd simply lay them all out in the open, because like this, I'm more inclined to think there's an exaggeration on the other's part. If it's from Zachary or Ashton, I don't know. In the end, all I can do is wait, go about my day, and hope for the best. Before leaving, I spare Isabella's room one last glance, disturbingly quiet now without her in it. I'll get answers from her later. For now, my concerns are best left here. The rest of the day slips away in a skipped blur. Okay, so we have the stupid...
If you want, I can get you that ice cream thing you mentioned tonight. As thanks.
No.
Just as thanks for all the trouble I've caused today.
Believe me, I'd love to take you up on that offer, but I've got something on my schedule this evening. Maybe some other time? Thanks a lot, Becca.
Rude. There's a short pause before he cuts the call from his end, and once again, I'm alone with my thoughts. But rather than answers, all I got from it are questions. More of them, one on top of the other, as if the world isn't planning to give me a break anytime soon. Okay. So, we head to the cafe to pick up some dinner for Isabella and us, and then we run into this douche. We're gonna shout for help.
Let me...
As much as I would love to once again kick him where it hurts. We want to keep things posy, so we're also gonna apologize to Luke and be the bigger person. Stupid smug douche. Alright, so we bring things to Isabella, who seems to be in quite a state. Is this why you didn't go home last night? Yeah, I think we're doing quite well with Isabella this time around then. Which, hey, you know, that's nice. Again, I want them to have a good friendship. Okay, so we run into the douche lord again for some parent thing, career day, whatever. And then Kylie's good. Ooh, okay, yeah. You're good at handling her. Alright, so we make Luke feel better about himself as an adult person, and then Kylie's telling us that something's wrong with her friend in the bathroom, but then whoops, it's actually just her possessed. Except not really. What's going on? Uh-oh. Alright, so we head back. We call Marianne about the book and try to get some info about the history of the mansion from her. Then we have to decide between hanging out with Luke or going with Ash. We're gonna go with Luke. Because again, I like the conversations that they have here, and I think that it makes... I think it makes the best growth for Becca. What did I say last time? I know I did the right thing last time, so let's look. I think it's... Okay, I don't need to answer that. Yep. Alright, so... we head back. We can't find Isabella. Day of the party. We come out and see them doing some shenanigans. I might have seen it. It's possible. There's a possibility. Okay. So we're at the party. We're pissed off at Ash. We get our little relationship with Hannah a bit. And then there's the bit with Rochelle. Now this should be interesting from this perspective. The commotion doesn't go further, despite the drunk woman appearing like she has plenty more venom to spill. In a little while, security shows up, escorting her out. Apparently she's the chief inspector's wife, too? As if this whole thing could get any more fucked up than it already is. What a mess. Nice, okay. But the damage has been done, and beyond the repercussions this will bring, I'm more worried about Hannah. Maybe Luke too, in part. I've seen the man that hides behind his self-importance, and is someone who cares for the person who stands beside him. No matter how questionable that is now, and it is incredibly questionable, but sometimes mere affections aren't enough.
And I've had enough of you. So guess what?
Excuse me.
Fuck you, Luke.
Wow, you can't even show the text, because they gotta censor it. Oh, whoa, that is bold.
We agreed to never talk of this woman.
Did we? I don't remember.
I don't know how long this has been going on. I don't know either of them well to judge for myself. I'm simply an outsider who happens to have some kind of connection with both of them.
Face it, Lucille Mitchell-Wright. You owe me everything.
I owe you everything. I owe you everything? Who's running the business now while you sit at home like a pretty princess?
If I recall, you told me to retire so that I can enjoy my time as Mrs. Luke
I'm
Wright.
glad we get to enjoy this again. I
wouldn't
really
even
am.
bother with other women if you were still Hannah Evans.
That is oh my god, I must have missed this line last time. That is the biggest BS he's ever said.
You used to be your own woman. You used to be someone who I could fucking look up to.
And you're the person that changed her.
If I wanted some brainless bint, I'd go to the whorehouse and play any old strumpet like a fucking fiddle. That's all you are now. A brainless, good-for-nothing.
But the second Hannah raises her hand, I know it's far too late to save an already crumbling relationship. Long before her palm connects with his cheek. The sound of it echoes throughout the whole ballroom, loud enough to silence everyone. The quiet does not persist, however, and in an instant, Luke orders every guest out.
That's it! This party is over! Everybody leave before I have you all thrown out!
There's shuffling, a minute of reluctance from every head in the room, but in the end, his anger forces everyone to comply. Chatter explodes at the whole foyer once the door has been promptly shut. Worried murmurs, clicking of tongues, and an inappropriate gossip filters throughout the thick tension in the room. I couldn't care less about any of it. Besides, it's pretty obvious what the topic is. Most of them haven't even left the premises, and they're already talking about it. Yeah, but at least wait till you get to the car to sort of dish the tea. Tomorrow it'll be on the news for sure, in every local broadsheet and tabloid in Luxbourne. Simply thinking about it already gives me a headache. When the shock is faded, I just feel bone-tired. I've accomplished nothing of what I came here for, and Ashton's nowhere to be found. Not sure what pisses me off more. That he ignored me the whole evening and might have left just without saying anything, or knowing he obviously has some other motive for being here. Can't he at least trust his own friends for that?
He didn't have to hide it from me.
The only reason to be had in this, perhaps, is Zachary's comforting smile when he approaches. He appears as disturbed when he stands beside me, fiddling with the buttons on his camera, even though the device is off.
Eventful night, huh?
You can say that again. It was awful.
Wild party, eh? He pauses for a moment, stares at me intently. Then he laughs, a tired one, but filled with humor, in spite of what we've witnessed.
Let me guess. Ashton.
Oh, what makes you think he's my problem?
Just a hunch, and, it's all in your face, actually.
Zach is pretty observant.
Why does he have to? I don't understand that man anymore.
Like I always say, you should just...
Oh, you can bet your ass we're going to have a very long talk. I'm not letting him off easy this time.
I'm sure he has a good reason. He won't say it, but he likes being around us. Heck, we're probably the only people he likes. He ain't gonna ruin that for something stupid. He can be dense, but he ain't dumb.
But that's exactly what I've been telling people, isn't
We'll
it?
see about that. Let's just go. Are you done here?
Yeah, no, you stay in when...
Just then, the door to the ballroom slams open, and a very irate Luke marches out into the foyer. By now, most of the guests have trickled out of the mansion, leaving only a few loitering around the room. What his fury is still at its peak boiling point, it's only natural he'll zero in on the tallest person with his temper's blast radius. Although he's not really making an effort not to let the remaining people in the hall hear his tirade.
Well, still here, I see. Having a grand time, aren't we? Every bloody goss in this fucking city has something to talk about tomorrow. Great news day, isn't it?
I don't think he really understands Zach's position here, Luke.
I wonder what the headlines will be. Cheating husband lashes out at poor wife.
I ain't a part of the media, sir. Miss Wright only hired me for the photos, nothing more.
Oh, the photos, of fucking course. How could I forget?
The fucking photos!
Darling wifey needs a bloody souvenir, doesn't she? Something to remind her of how she humiliated her asshole of a husband.
I mean, yeah.
I'm sure it ain't like that, sir. Hannah's... No one expected...
You should have expected.
Hand it over.
I'm sorry, what?
Are you also deaf? Do I always have to spell everything out to you peasants? Hand the blasted thing over! All of you! If I see
you.
one picture, even a single shot of a fucking spoon tomorrow, you will all lose more than your jobs. Now give me the bloody camera!
I can't do that, sir. I do freelance work, and this is my...
Do I look like I give a shite? Give it to me, or...
I wonder what Kylie will say if she sees Tio Luke right now.
Justice for Zach. Yeah, Rebecca. For a short second, he looked surprised to find me there. To be honest, I didn't realize I've spoken either until he turns a livid glare on me. A lesser person will probably cower under it. I will too, perhaps, in another situation where he isn't throwing insults at my friend. That one I simply can't let go of.
Oh, Daisy, oh, Daisy. Do you always have to butt in on other people's discussions?
Yes.
I wouldn't have to if there was actually one happening right now. It's pretty one-sided, eh? A bit offensive, too, if you ask me.
Woman, why don't you just bugger off? No one cares what your opinion is, especially in my
Okay,
home.
so now we can probably kick him in the
You
balls.
don't have to worry about that, Mr. Luke Wright. I don't have any plans of staying longer. I'm only here to fetch my friend. I wasn't expecting to see an asshole standing beside him, though.
Rebecca, you really don't have to.
Oh, no, you shut your trap. Let her say what she wants. I'd love to hear it.
I'd love to hear it too,
That
personally.
feisty attitude is going to take you places, Daisy. Fair warning, though, woman, and I've said this plenty of times.
There's a pause as he steps closer, staring me down with almost little to no effort. I do my best to hold it, but I won't deny flinching at the tone he takes once he lets loose the next words from his mouth.
Threats do not work on me.
Then and there, I believe him, that this man is capable of doing so much more than what any intimidating remark I can lob at
So
him.
if you don't have anything worth my while to say, it'd be in your best interests if you remove you and your precious friend from my property.
Okay, Batman.
Now, before I get the security to drag you out.
I'm not the one in hockey pants. Another person takes that decision out of my hands.
Come on, Becca. He ain't worth your time.
It's true, he isn't. Without wasting time, Zachary pulls me away from him. By the time I've regained my senses, he's already tugging me by my wrist towards the wide-open doors. The stubborn part in me, however, the part who has seen the kind of person he is when he's with Kylie, refuses to withdraw without flinging in a last retort.
And here I thought you were a halfway decent guy. Whatever happened to the person his goddaughter looks up to?
He was never there, Daisy. That man died a long time ago. You're better off not looking for him.
I won't. I have no intention to, but I can't resist the urge to glance back before I leave, if only to have one last look at the man he really is. Perhaps I should be thankful this brief acquaintance isn't going anywhere. But the instant I turn my gaze on him, I see it. Looming, hovering over his shoulders, drawn to him like a moth to a flame. Like the first time I've stepped inside the place in search of Isabella. He was there, too, wasn't he? That man, along with his wife and another person, Miss McCulloch? And that shadow. No. A woman, now. Her. No longer a dark blur. Terror rushes through every vein in my body. A crippling sensation gripping every part of me while she stares at me with a glare filled with nothing but hate and venom. It's like staring at the eyes of a woman I've unknowingly robbed of something precious. I try to say something. A warning. But Zachary's already leading me out of the foyer, oblivious. Before I can gather my wits and voice it out, someone shuts the door behind us, as if to keep outsiders away from the secrets this mansion possesses. Woo! Alright. By now the sensation, the fear and disquiet leaves whenever I see her is familiar enough for me. Already it has made a home in my nerves. I don't even notice my trembling hands until Zachary points it out to me.
You okay? You ain't looking too good. You're shaking.
Hastily, I retract my hands from his hold, crossing my arms across my chest instead in some lame attempt to keep the smallest of movements down. The cold from the tips of my fingers seeps through the thick material of my shirt regardless. Neither of it helps bring together some semblance of coherent thought in my head.
Don't worry about it. I'm good. Zachary, did you see anything back there?
Oh, that what happened in the ballroom? Or...
No, not that. In the foyer, right behind. Never mind. You go ahead of me. Someone has to warn him. I'll just catch a cab on my own.
Warn him of what? Wait, Rebecca, did you forget something in there? I can...
I turn away and walk before he can stop me with a word of protest. It's not wise. Coming back, that is, especially after what happened. But Hannah's still an old friend, and Luke's neither a friend or an enemy, just an acquaintance who doesn't deserve whatever misfortune that letter might bring. I can't just leave those two in there. Isabella's right. She's real, and there's something she wants from everyone who has read that...
What took you so long? Let's go. I'll get the both of you back to the city.
My mistake. The second his voice cuts through the crisp night air is that I've allowed my annoyance to get the better of me. Fuming, with my purpose forgotten, I whirl around and march towards him. One accusation after another piles up at the tip of my tongue, ready to be hurled at any moment. There's no hesitation holding me back when I fling it at him. That straight face as he keeps as I do so doesn't help temper my anger either. It only makes me want to slap some more sense into him.
Shouldn't we be the one asking you that?
Becca, I've been waiting here the whole time. I told you I hate parties like...
And before that, where have you...
Oh, okay. Right then and there, I might have forgiven him if he'd shown some ounce of remorse for leaving me like that. Maybe he could have looked away, given me a sign that my assumptions might be right. He doesn't even need to put them into words. A simple gesture of confirmation is all I need. Rather, what I get is the same impassive look. He does that whenever he can't disclose anything. He does that whenever he's lying. In the face of it, amidst the thick tension, a frustrated huff is the only thing I can summon.
Be that way. Fine. Suit yourself, but don't you dare think this will be the end of this. We'll talk about this tomorrow, and you better have a proper answer for me by then.
No more words. After everything I've seen and heard tonight, I'm already too exhausted for those. So without speaking any further, I simply stomp over his car and climbed inside, slamming the door behind me with as much force my anger can show. They both follow after, and shortly, we're on our way back to the city. Yet even with the city's bright lights welcoming us, the dense, somber air from the mansion still lingers. Oh, wow, okay, we've still got it. Zachary has asked to be dropped off first, the moment we've entered downtown Luxborn. Though he never mentions anything and has only words of thanks for us, he probably doesn't want to get caught in another spat between Ashton and I. Don't blame him. It's all too clear in his face, the poor man. I'll have to apologize for subjecting him to that some other time. I think he's also hoping we'd be able to fix this without him around. Oh, how wrong he is. Even after our respective heads have cooled off, the atmosphere of the car remains rife with unspoken tension. This isn't a problem so easily fixed with a few handshakes. Quite frankly, I don't know what will. Ashton himself has no idea what to do when he alights and dawdles awkwardly in the middle of the car park, unsure. It almost seems like he's having an internal debate, whether he should say goodbye or mutter another apology. I could have driven him away, purely out of spite, the second I've gotten off. Still, old habits die hard. It's late, and Ashton's flat is on the other side of the city. Irritation might still rear its head every time I look at him right now, but I'm not too cruel to put him up on another long drive, especially when he still appears as if he hasn't gotten any rest.
You can borrow the couch.
I throw the keys to my flat his way before a protest forms on his lips. Although he catches it with ease, he eyes it with a wary expression and shoots a puzzled glance
You
my
haven't
way.
been forgiven. We're still going to have that talk, believe me.
What's this? Yep, okay. Alright, so we're gonna go meet the professor then today to get access to the library. So we head over there to do some research. We found out a little bit about the past and sort of the hidden history of the mansion Luxborn here. Okay, and this time we want to stay alive, so we're gonna head for the door. Okay. So we head over to the front door. Is there a QT here? Yep, there is. Okay, what is this again? Right. Wait. Yep. Okay, here we go. Nope. Come on. Nope, come on. There it is. Alright, nice. Okay, so we make our way out, sort of collapse. managed to get a call to Ashton, and we start with Ashton then. Alright, so let's stop right there. We're gonna call it here for today, and then we will make our way through Ashton's chapter tomorrow. Then probably also, hopefully, if this doesn't take too long, we'll get into Luke's too, and get right up to where we'll start the true end stuff. And then we'll go from there. Until then, whoopsies, until then, I have been your host, Josh. This has been Downstage Gaming, and I will catch you all next time.